Hey y'all! So this is the start of another video. It's been a week since I finished the last one, so I feel like I say this every single time. It's super slow moving. But I did start Konqeson. I'm on page 95 out of 750, which is, hold on one second, which is 13% of the way through, and it's due in 5 days at the library. So I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna get it done. I've said this before, but I'm going to do it this time because I am actually really into this storyline. I'm remembering everything that I was saying about it when I last attempted to start it. It's still way more political than Red Rising, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it just has to kind of pick up. Also, the main character is sort of in a bit of a pickle, and I'm intrigued to see what happens, where he goes, how he kind of copes with everything. So that's exciting. I'm just gonna read a bit of it today. I had hoped to finish it today, but I got caught up with some work stuff. So I did that, and now I have a bit of free time. I have to go to work in about an hour and a half. So I'm gonna read, and I will either update after work or tomorrow. Hi! So I've been reading Konqeson today. I think I've gotten about 2 chapters out from where I was earlier. I'm on 148 out of 750. I am getting into it. I'm really enjoying it. I'm kind of remembering the whole situation that's going on. I'm really into it. I'm really enjoying it. I have the day off today and tomorrow. Oh, hi. I have the day off today and tomorrow, so I'm gonna get a lot of reading done then. The book is still super twisty. This whole series has been really twisty. A big twist just happened that I'm kind of it's kind of oh, this thing happened in the past and now it's done and it's not gonna be talked about anymore. That's what they're telling us. I think it's gonna come back to bite these people in the ass. But we'll see. Yeah, and I'm just gonna keep reading and hopefully finish it today or tomorrow. Look at where Ramona is right now. So she climbed on the desk and then hopped up to the door, and now she's also been eyeing this kind of edge for a really long time. I think she really wants to get up there. So I'm continuing to read Konqeson. I'm on 398 of 750, which I think is over halfway through. I'm really enjoying it. I'm super into it. But I decided to do this update because I'm stunned a little bit by the scale of this book, by the scale of this world and the politics of it. So basically, at the beginning of Red Rising, the main character Darrow is told that his tiny little world that he's known for his entire life, he's mining this substance that is apparently going to help them terraform this planet. And then at the beginning of Red Rising, he's told that it helps the people of Mars. And there are already all of these people up on the surface of Mars, like living their lives essentially, while he has been essentially enslaved his entire life. But in this book, it's literally like a whole kind of like space story where there are all of these, like, I believe all the planets of the solar system are inhabited. In Red Rising, you're told that it's like the people of Mars that are the antagonizers, and like it's the people of Mars that need to be kind of infiltrated and defeated. But as it goes on, you realize that it's this entire solar system. It's the whole solar system, probably even, I don't know if it's outside of our solar system, but every single planet, every single moon of our solar system has been inhabited. And so I am so intrigued by the scale of this world. So golds, who are the highest race on the caste system of this book, live on every single planet in some capacity. And Darrow's main goal is to infiltrate them and kind of disintegrate their society from inside out. And I'm like, there are so many planets, there are so many moons. That's gonna take so long and take so much effort, and he's one guy. I'm kind of in wonder about the sheer scale of this world and like how this is gonna play out. So I just had to come on here and like talk about that, because it's something that's been like really like not bugging my mind, but kind of just like in the back of my brain ever since I started Golden Sun, ever since I really got to the end of Red Rising. So I obviously there's Morning Star, which is the third book in the Red Rising trilogy, and then there's I don't know if it's like a continuation or if it's a companion trilogy, but then there's a whole bunch of other books. And so I know it's not over anytime soon. The story has the capacity to go on for a really long time, so there's no really rush to kind of destroy the society that they've built. And I know that this is only the second book, and there's like a whole bunch after this. I'm just like, at this point in the storyline, I'm like, wow, there is like so much that this guy has to do to get rid of this like caste system. He's also kind of slipping into really thinking himself a gold, even though technically, like in his mind, in his heart, he is a red, but externally, like physically, everything else, he is a gold. Like they physically altered his body so that he is physically a gold. So I think that kind of line where it's like, I am a red versus I'm turning into a gold is like blurring, and I think that's super interesting, especially this early on. I really am liking the series. I really want to finish it. I'm like so into this. There's so much left too. I'm like, I feel like every single, like all the stuff that I've read so far has been super high paced, super high intensity, and I'm only halfway through, and I'm like, either it's gonna like slow down or it's gonna continue to be this fast paced. So I'm just like in awe of this book. It's so, the scale is so large and so wide. Like the world is really good. The like language, like the slang system and like how he speaks is also really interesting. The power dynamics, the culture dynamics, the social dynamics in this book are so well thought out. It's just really interesting as well as entertaining. So, it is crunch time. I just got home from work. It is 3:05 right now. Golden Sun, oh my goodness. Sorry, this cat. I have 3 hours left until Golden Sun needs to be returned to the library. I think I could do it. I hope I can do it. if I just don't stop reading. I am making food right now, so that might take up a little bit of time. Obviously, I'm talking to you, so that's gonna take up some time, but I'm hopeful that I can finish it. If I don't finish it, I will be at most 100 pages out. She's a Lego? Oh my god, I haven't seen a Lego in this house in ages. If I don't finish on my Kindle, hopefully I'll be at most 100 pages out and I could just read it physically for the last 100 or so pages. I'm not worried. Maybe I'm a little bit worried. There she goes. So that's the plan for the rest of today. I will report back tonight, which will be when I have definitely finished Konqeson. I'm almost done and something's about to happen, I can tell. Oh my god. What? Yeah, right? That's crazy. In a minute. Okay. Wow. In my last update, I talked about how the world and the atmosphere of this book is just so vast and consuming, and that definitely holds up throughout the end of the book. The sense of kind of hopelessness, but also hopelessness in the sense that they're in the book they're saying oh my god, how are we gonna do this? We are so outnumbered. But there's also a sense of yeah, we got this. They 100% are steadfast in their plan, which I think is really interesting. So last time I updated you was about halfway through the book, and at halfway and probably for about 25% past halfway, so 75% of the book, things are going really, really well for this group of people in their whole war wartime in this vast solar system wide fight. And for that entire 75%, I was there's another shoe. Another shoe needs to drop. Yes, obviously it did. I was not wrong. But it happens twice. There are two shoes that drop. There are multiple shoes that drop. Things just start going wrong. And it's just again, the sense of hopelessness just is tenfold past that 75% mark, which obviously I know that there are more books, so it's not going to continue, but it's so palpable, and it's just a really, really well done storyline. Having said that, this world is so vast and detailed, and just the scope of it is giant. I know that it's impossible for there not to be minuscule plot holes. That being said, I felt as though at moments it was kind of things were happening that were kind of not described in a way that I fully understood why this was happening, what was happening, how the thing that was happening benefited the main character and the end goal. And there is also a lot of kind of telling us what happens after the thing has already happened, heist movies, where they're the whole action has happened, and then they go back and tell you secret things that the main character had not disclosed to the audience. That happens a lot, which I don't think is frustrating. I just think it's very repetitive, and it does fill the plot holes. There were some kind of symbols that I felt could have come back in the end, Chekhov's gun type things. But all in all, it was like so good. I like the scope of the world. The writing is just really, really well done. The twists are... The book is twisty in the way that literally anything could happen. Anybody could die. Anybody could turn on anybody. It's not unheard of for like these like really chaotic things to happen continuously. So it's twisty in that way, but the twists are always kind of like, they come at a time where you really don't want them to happen. They're not bad twists, they're just unexpected. I would absolutely give this book like a 9, which translates to a 4.5 on Goodreads, which I know people do. I just don't like to put it in the book review. This is the first book where I'm like, genuinely, this is not a 4 and it's not a 5. Like, there are some things that I really wish could have been done better, but it's definitely, like, it's not 4 stars. But on Goodreads, I'm gonna have to rate it a 4-star because it's not a 5-star. 5 stars, like a 5-star. This is genuinely like a 4, like a full-on 4.5. So that's that. Another book down. Are you so sleepy? I'll report back later. Okay, good morning. It's like 7:30 in the morning. I don't know why I woke up this early, but here we are. I had planned on reading Sorcery of Thorns today. I'm sorry. My cat has insane zoomies right now. Anyway, I had planned on reading Sorcery of Thorns today since I don't have work until 2. I don't know what's going on. I think I'm either hungry or just like not in the mood for fantasy right now, but I'm gonna try it out and see how it does, how I like it. Hopefully I'll finish it by Monday since it's due Tuesday in the morning. But again, if it's not, but again, if I don't finish it, I could just read it physically, which I keep forgetting that I actually like physically have these books. But also, now that I mentioned that, the other night when I was reading Konqeson, I had downloaded it from Libby onto my Kindle app instead of just reading it on Libby, and I think that extended the time a little bit that I had it, because on Libby it said it was due at like 6:17. I was reading it until like maybe like 7:30 or 8 p.m. So I think it just like didn't register that it was like, oh, you need to like return it, but I'm pretty sure that if I had kept reading it on Libby, it would have like kicked me out. So that's reassuring, I guess. So I'm gonna I'm gonna start reading Sorcery of Thorns. A lot of people really do love it, and I haven't read a fantasy in a really long time, so I'm excited. So my loan of Sorcery of Thorns as an ebook expired. Who's surprised? Nobody. So I am reading it physically. I'm on page 94 and I am annotating it. So far I only have 6 tabs, but I have a feeling it's going to be a good one and worth annotating. I am really enjoying it. I think I'm having a bit of trouble getting back into fantasy just because I haven't read a fantasy in a while. That's not true because I read A Song of Wraiths and Ruin. I think what I mean is I haven't read like a stereotypical like demons and sorcerers kind of fantasy book, and so I'm having a bit of, it's been a slow start, but I am enjoying it. I do think that I'm having a little bit of trouble getting into it because it is a young adult fantasy, first of all. But on that note, that it's a young adult fantasy, I do appreciate that it's self-aware that it's a young adult fantasy. Like, there have been multiple mentions of like, oh, she could do this, but like she didn't know why. We'll revisit, like she says like, that's not like, right now is not the time to think about that. And I'm like, that's gonna connect later, because she says stuff about like, she wondered how she could do that, or like she wondered why she was the only one awake in this like magical castle. but she like hates magical people. Right. It definitely is like fully aware of the fact, fully foreshadowing the fact that like the main guy and the main girl, they will do the equivalent of falling in love in a young adult fantasy. Sorcery of Thorns is, from what I gather, is about a girl called Elizabeth who is a apprentice to be a warden for these magical libraries, essentially, which are prisons for magical books, which are called grimoires. She's training to be a warden to protect these magical books that are oftentimes like evil. Some of them are not evil, but some of them are evil and they need to be like locked up. So she hates magic. She's an orphan, she hates magic, and so she gets accused essentially of releasing one of these really, really, really bad magical books, and gets taken away to the capital city, I believe, by this sorcerer who is the main guy. I think it's gonna be essentially about like to prove her innocence, but also along the way you kind of get the sense that like she's probably gonna realize that like magic is not really that bad, and she's probably magic herself given all of like these self-aware hints that we've gotten. But I do know that everybody really, really loves this book. It's like a favorite among the booktubers, so I'm excited for it. It's been at like the top of my TBR list for a really long time. That's where I'm at now. I'm liking it. I need to immerse myself in the world. I think that's what really helps me to truly like really, really, really pay attention to these fantasy books, is just like immersing myself in the world, pretending I'm there, watching these characters as like a bystander. I need to alter my brain chemistry so that I'm in the book and then we'll be good. So I'm gonna continue reading this and hopefully, I'm not gonna say hopefully finish it because that's not what this is about. It's just about reading because I like reading and getting immersed in these really, really cool worlds that people have written. It's not about finishing, it's just about reading. So I have 30 pages left of Daisy Jones and the Six. It's Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm ready for some twists and turns. I'm also really ready to listen to the Aurora album on Spotify and watch the show. So here we go. So I'm not done, but I have this thought and I can't keep reading until I get it out. I am so intrigued by this album, the album for the show that's on Spotify, and it being titled the album from the book Aurora, and I looked at it earlier. None of the songs are in the order that it says in the book, and Taylor Jenkins Reid doesn't have any songwriting credits on Spotify, even though she does write the, I think she actually does in the back of the book. There are the lyrics to the songs. So I'm curious about what that means. Yeah, I just had to get that thought out of my head because I could not keep reading until I voiced it. This is a great book. Everything about it so good. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing. This is like not news to anybody. She's an incredible author. I also just love, I feel like all of her books have kind of, I mean, I've only read Evelyn Hugo, but there just feels like something, every single one of them, I just feel like there's like a mystery, like a mystery that you don't even know is a mystery. It's just like there's something that's gonna happen in the end that is gonna rewire all of your knowledge of what's going on in the book. So basically it's about a rock duo who are trying to like make it as a band, and they slowly accumulate members, and they call themselves the Six because there are 6 of them. And the other storyline before they kind of converge is Daisy Jones, who is addicted to all kinds of drugs and alcohol and everything in the 70s. She just wants to be big. She wants to make it big. She has all these ideas in her head. She's a songwriter. And so they come together to create Daisy Jones and the Six, and they write this banger album, and they go on tour, and it's about their kind of unraveling because of all of these external forces that are affecting their kind of mental state as they go through the world with this album and going on tour multiple times. It's twisty, everything about it. These are definitely spoilers that I'm about to say. So it's told in like interview format, but it's not like interview. It's like snippets of every single person's interview, telling the story chronologically, which I thought was so interesting and so cool. But there was this man who kept popping up named Greg McGinnis, and every single time his name would pop up, it would be his full name, but for all the other characters, they would say their full name once, and then they would just continue to call them by their first name. This Greg McGinnis guy kept popping up, and I'm so mad that I didn't like put a tab up here for every single time he popped up, because I'm trying to I want to go back and go through all of his moments, because he is kind of like an important character just by one name mention in the end of the book. And I knew that. I knew that he kept popping up. I knew he was going to be important somehow. I found one of his mentions, but now I'm sad about it. I knew I should have been marking down every single time he appeared. I guess I am excited to watch the TV show now. I don't know if I should listen to the album first or not. I really want to listen to it because the vibe is, from the book at least, is really, it sounds right up my alley. But I'm also a little bit worried because it sounds so whimsical in the book. I feel I don't know, I just have a feeling that it's gonna be changed somehow, and it's talked about in the book with such reverence and like it's the greatest thing ever, and it transported you to another world. These songwriters have to be really, really good to successfully capture what she wrote in this book. I said this before, but I'm wildly confused as to how Taylor Jenkins Reid is not credited as a songwriter, even though all the song lyrics to Aurora are in the book. Well, we'll see. Maybe she didn't actually write them. Maybe the people that are credited as the songwriters on Spotify wrote the songs and they put them in the book. Who knows? It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. So I'm editing this video right now. I knew that I had never updated you on how Sorcery of Thorns went. I finished it. I liked it. I was having a little bit of mixed thoughts towards the middle of it. I was at a 3-star for a while, but then the ending was just so whimsical and magical, and I felt it and I loved it so much. So I gave it a 4-star. I did really like it. As I say previously, it did take me a really long time to get into it. I actually read Daisy Jones in the middle of reading Sorcery of Thorns, and I finished Sorcery of Thorns, and I just never picked my camera up to let you guys know how it went. So this is me doing that. I also bought and read Demon in the Wood by Leigh Bardugo, which is a prequel to Shadow and Bone. It's kind of the origin story of the Darkling. It's a graphic novel, so it was super quick. I didn't even think to pick my camera up. But I read this, I think I gave it 5 stars. I'm pretty sure I gave it 5 stars. It was a super quick and easy read, and yeah. So I guess this is where I'm ending the vlog. It's been like 2 months since I started it. I remember reading Golden Sun and absolutely loving it. Morningstar is on the docket as soon as I have the energy to read it. I also did upload my bookshelf reorganization. So if there's discrepancies in the bookshelves in this video, that's why, because that happened in the middle of filming this video. I hope you enjoyed. I certainly was in a video slump in the middle of all of this, but I'm kind of getting in the groove again. So I'll see you when I see you.